radio show on WDRB Media and WGIV. And here's your host, Stevie G.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us today. We got a special guest here today, and I'm so glad that we have her here, who lives a rock star life. Lorraine Geraci, how was it going today?
Great, Steve. Thank you.
Good.
Wonderful life. Yes.
Yes, good. Now, I know we just met, so I don't know much about what you do, and this is a great time to really get to know each other and really see what you do. But I know you're into coaching, plus you have a book.
Yes.
Right? Living
Yes.
a rock star life.
That's right.
Okay?
Yep.
So what kind of rock star life are we talking about here?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because so many people take a look at the book, and when I do some speaking engagements, and they're wondering if I'm trying to teach people how to be an actual rock star, to get up on a stage and start singing. I said if that was the case, I would have done that a long time ago. But basically, it's a metaphor, and it's the opportunity for people to engage in their own rock star life, and whatever that means to them. You know, content, passion, happiness, energy, movement, and really taking charge of one's life and all the different aspects of it to make sure that we're attaining the goals that we want to have the life that we want, instead of really complaining and woe is me, and people that focus on all the negative aspects of what life brings to us, instead of embracing it and grabbing the bull by the horns and doing something about it to help themselves in every area. So I decided to take charge of that.
Okay.
Grab my own bull
Right.
with my own horns.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Now, you're new to the area, is that correct?
I am just about a little over 3 years. I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
Lived there for 40-something years. And moved down to Charlotte about a little over 3 years ago to really engage in my career, and also relocate to an area that I really just fell in love with when I came to visit.
Now, who told you about Charlotte? Because
Well,
Not a lot
I
of people
came
hear
to
about it.
visit a friend. A good friend of mine had graduated high school with many years ago. Her and her family moved down here from New York, and I came to visit with a group of folks, and I just went with my instincts, and my insides were just screaming that I had to come back and revisit the area. So I made a few trips back, and I decided very quickly that this is someplace I wanted to plant my feet for a while, and had the opportunity to do so. And I'm really glad I did. Never look back.
now that's a huge move, because usually
is.
people have tight friends back home, hard to leave. This
Yep.
must have been a really good friend that's here.
Yep.
So,
Well, absolutely, yes. That's is for sure. I left most of my family and friends up in the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut area, and but I'm very fortunate enough to work from home, so that enables me the opportunity to travel a little bit more, and I can really work from anywhere. So I get a great chance to visit very often. So it gives me a chance to kind of keep in touch with all those folks, including my family. So
nice.
it's all good.
So which part of New York you from?
The Hudson Valley. It's about 45 minutes north of New York City. The suburbs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How
Yeah.
how easy is it to get from there to Manhattan, the city, or whatever?
It's not very far, but the word easy doesn't really come to mind when traveling into the city of New York, I'll tell you that much. Great place to visit type of thing, right? But it could be challenging. There's a couple bridges involved, and getting over to New York City, but it's pretty close, literally 40 minutes.
So you had to
quick.
drive. Did you have to drive? or is there
Nope.
is there public? Okay, good.
You can do one of, I drove most of the time if I did go and visit, but there's also public transportation up to the area where I used to live too.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
bad.
Now you're in business coaching now. Is that correct? Right?
Yes, I'm a certified professional coach, as well as an author and a lecturer. My background is predominantly in training adults, really, just sales training specifically, leadership training, and really kind of getting up and doing public speaking, teaching people presentation skills, and enabling sales professionals predominantly to learn how to write business plans so they could be successful in their sales life. And it kind of transferred over into your personal life. There's so many different aspects of our lives that we compartmentalize sometimes, easy for some, hard for others. So, and I noticed that when we do that, we have a more keen awareness of areas that we're really excelling in and we're happy about. And then there's areas that we're really falling short and we're not so happy about. And I wanted to come up with a way that I could help other people focus on those areas and get those percentages up by establishing goals and vision boards and really kind of committing to making a difference, changing.
So then it doesn't have to be about business. It can be
Nope.
personal life.
Absolutely.
So just give us an example of somebody who wants to achieve something, or how you would be able to help them.
So, for example, the couple of folks that I have coached, it's funny, I reference a few of them in the book. I have a gentleman who I worked with who had a regular 9 to 5, Monday through Friday business job, right, in corporate America. And he was, doing well, but he wasn't very jazzed. And that dissatisfaction in his daily life trickled down to his family, all right? So his spouse and his children are also feeling that negative aspect of his issues. So in diving a little bit deeper in, allowing him to figure out his path and what was wrong, he loved to cook, right? So his passion was cooking, making food, and he kind of didn't know, how am I going to balance that so I can be happy over there and in my work life also? I can't quit my job and just go be a chef in 5 minutes. It doesn't happen. So we came up with a way that he can incorporate both into his life. Have the job, incorporate a little bit of a side business in his life, and have a catering business. And then the family got involved. And so that passion that he had, when he put his mind towards it, moved a little bit forward into it, he was able to realize, wow, not only did it help me professionally, because now I have some passion again, that I'm going to use that word a lot, and it doesn't just mean what you think. It really is about being jazzed about what you're doing, at least most of the time.
Yeah, because that's hard, because people
Very
wake up
hard.
in the morning and they're like, I got to do this again. I got to do this again. And it's something that they look at it as if they have to do it.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do it, they don't get income.
Yep.
They can't support the family.
Yep.
And now, but they're dreading every day going to work or going to their business.
Yeah.
How do you motivate people to be able to keep on going throughout the days, the weeks, the months, and the years?
Well, the first thing is people have to come up with their own awareness that something's wrong, or something's missing, or something is not exactly the way it should be. And that example that you came is more common than you think. It's either I don't like my job, or I'm not happy with my partner. Okay, those are the two biggest issues that adults face in today's day and age.
Now, what kind of partner are we talking about? Are we talking about a business partner, or are we talking about
a relationship?
Relationship,
Their
okay.
everyday, whether it's spouse or
Okay.
Significant other relationship is not what they want it to be. And when I've talked to thousands of people over the years through my business and corporate training, and you'd be amazed, I must have a thing on my head saying, please tell me everything about your life.
I was about to ask you that. How do people open up to you and tell you about their...
I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyelashes.
Okay,
I can't tell you. But or my red hair or something. But it's just that, why? Because I care. And I listen, and I think I have a welcoming presence, and I'm interested. I really want to help make a difference. So I think people feel more comfortable and confident sharing some personal stuff with me because they feel as though I do care, and maybe I can help guide them in a way that will help them overcome some of the obstacles that they have. So when it comes to profession, or it comes to a relationship, the one thing is really coming to grips with, are you happy? End of story. Are you happy? At least most of the time. And it's sad to say, but most people will say no. Most people, not some, most.
That
so
will
that
say most of the
disturbs
time
me.
that they're not happy.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. In one of those two parts of their life, their professional life or their personal life, right? It could be, somebody that has small children that's going out of their mind, right? Or they can't seem to balance things, so they're not jazzed. They feel like they're spinning their wheels, and they're not sure what to do to get out of that, that mud pile. I'm going to reference the South for a second here with the mud, and the wheels spin like my cousin Vinny, So it basically makes them feel like that, like things are spinning and nobody's going anywhere. So I like to help people come up with their own way of getting to where they want to go. But the first thing is an awareness of where are you? So I do I do a personality profile with folks. It's takes 10 minutes online to do. It kind of gives me an understanding of who they are as a person, because not everybody's like me, not everybody's like you. So when you are in any kind of sales or training position, you have to put yourself in the position of the person that you're talking to, not expect them to be the person that you are. So once I determine that, it's great to help them identify what the issues are, what the great things in their life are, and kind of sit down and write what's called I call it a life wheel. It's pretty simple. It's components. I call it actually the Rockstar pizza pie, to be quite honest. So, most people like cheese in their pizza, right? Except for really crazy people. I know a few of those.
I'm allergic to cheese.
All right, so
come on now.
We'll put something else on your pizza. I don't know, pepperoni and bread for you. And so basically, but most people like their slice of pizza with cheese all on it, right? So if you're missing some cheese, it's not the same, is it?
No.
It's just not the same. When you take that one bite on the missing cheese part, you're like, something's missing. So if that piece of your pie, like your professional life, your spirituality, your friendships, your volunteerism, your family, your significant other, all your physical health and well-being. So I make people put percentages on each of those pieces of pizza, on how much cheese is on your pizza pie, right? And if it's 100%, I'd be shocked because most people don't have that. But you'd be amazed on how many people put a very low percentage on certain big parts of their life. So that leads me to believe, like, wow, what are you doing? Why is that like that? Well, it's because of this, this, and this. It's usually everybody else's fault. You know that, right? It's never your own fault. And I'd say 95% of the time, it is your own fault that you don't have a full cheese pizza going on.
So just being complete.
Yeah. And at least for the most part, not everybody has a perfect life. I'm not trying to say you should, but most of your everyday should be happy and positive. And if it's not, then something's wrong. So I was becoming one of those people. I was becoming one. And I finally said, you know what? I am not going to be this person. I'm going to attack this person. And that's why I wrote this book. And it had a couple different names before this. But living a rock star life really kind of culminates everything all into one umbrella. And as happy as you can be when you're in control. End of story.
Thank you. Now we're going to get into the book after our break. So awesome about the Rockstar life. Perfect. So let's go ahead and actually take a break. But before we do, a word from Jennifer Musanji at Omni Wellness Center, where wellness awaits you. If you've been looking for a licensed massage bodywork therapist, give Jennifer Musanji a call at 704-451-3152 and look her up online at www.omniwellnesscenter.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Money. This is Stevie G, and if you're just tuning in, we're with Lorraine, living a rock star life every day, fanning herself with her book.
That's right.
Because it's hot in here.
It's not easy to live a rock star life. It takes a lot of energy.
That's right. Well, perfect. So I know we were just talking about how people open up to you and how you get a lot of the juicy stuff from people. Obviously, they feel comfortable with you, and you're helping them out. So tell us, how did you get started with the book and why you wrote the book?
Well, a few years ago when I was living in New York, I started the book, actually. And as time went on, I was just doing piecemeal, right? Just every once in a while, I'd go back to it. And to be frank, one of the things that was discouraging me was, all right, once I write this book, what do I do with it? Right? How do I get it out there? I knew I could self-publish. That's pretty simple these days to do. But I kept stopping and going, moving down here. So it took me a few years to finally get it done. Finally, last year, believe it or not, going through an emotional situation afterwards enabled me to finish this, oddly enough. And my head was all in it. So literally 2 weeks, and I finished the entire book. So I found a great publisher out in the West Coast, and I actually engaged the assistance of my cab driver and friend who drives me to the airport for my traveling for my corporate job. And I found that he was a graphics designer, so I had him design this cover for me.
Cool.
So I'm also helping local people utilize their skills and their passions, their talent. As a result, this particular gentleman not only read the book, because I gave him one, of course, but he also is making changes in his life because of it, and I'm helping him do that. So he's helping me with a video and everything else, and I finally did it, finally wrote it, published it last year, and created Rockstar Coaching this year.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where has that taken you now? So now you got the book now.
Yep.
Are you I'm sure it's on Amazon
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff.
Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's available online currently. I am in the process of looking into putting it on audiobook, and also doing a promotional video for Rockstar Coaching to get the business up and running, to be able to provide people with a resource. I have a website people can go to and sign up for information. I also do speaking engagements, so any kind of voiceover, MC work, anything of that nature, giving sales talks to teams, going into non-for-profits and doing some pro bono speaking to help folks out that might be having difficulty getting things running after maybe a tragic experience. And really just helping coach people that are coachable and want to be coached. It's not therapy, it's different. And providing them with some outlets and opportunities to make some changes.
Pretty
Excited
cool.
about that. That's what gets me jazzed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to walk the walk,
Yeah.
Not just talk the talk, or I should say talk the talk. I have to have my New York accent in there.
So just tell us a little bit about, I know that you were telling me before that you used to have your own radio show. Mm-hmm. This was in New York, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So what station was that on, and what was the show about?
It was a AM radio station in New York. At the time, I was a reverse mortgage sales professional, and my coworker and I did a show called 30 Minutes in Reverse, where we helped older adult homeowners with reverse mortgage information and provided them with home equity opportunities to sustain retirement living. So we had our own show there, and I used to be a DJ back in the day in radio when I was much younger in college. So I've really had a little love for radio for a very long time. Enjoy it.
Well, let's talk about that. So you said you were in college and you did a little bit.
I was a disc jockey. Mm-hmm. My name is Lorraine Rapp. And I would be on Saturdays, 1 to 4 on Saturdays. I had my own little rap that I used to sing. And I would play a lot of 80s, classic rock. And really just kind of have a show, play some music, entertain some people calling in. It was, college campus. I had a great time. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I know that you said that that this book was something that you wanted to work on, get it out there. Tell us a little bit about, some of the things that are in the book that you like.
Sure. One of the things that I wanted to do when I wrote this book is not make it a long, overly verbose, even though I can talk a lot, a verbose reading, saying the same thing over and over again. A lot of the motivational books that are out there are wonderful. I'm a huge fan of Larry Wingett. He is a great motivational coach, a speaker, as well as author. And I've read a bunch of his books, and I love the straightforward, matter-of-fact, in-your-face kind of talk. So I took that and wanted to put this. This is only 92 pages long. It's not a long book. It's an easy read.
It's perfect
and
for me.
It's my take on it. So it's my take on, quickly, what's perfect? Why am I writing this book? Because I'm one of you. I know I've gone through my own struggles, and I have a bunch of bruises all over me. They're invisible now, but I can share them with you. I kind of go over life's basic needs, right? So different parts of our life, how important it is to really focus on them and not let them go by the wayside, because then you wake up 20 years later having regrets on things. Talking a little bit about working with rock stars. I trained probably 1,000 mortgage professionals in my adult career, and that is what gave me the chutzpah, if there is such a word anymore, I'm dating myself, to really move forward and write this Rockstar book, because I used to teach Rockstar classes. And I talk a little bit about that. And then basically how people can take their information, put them in the wishboard. I have a wishboard I do every year, and I accomplish at least 85% of everything I set my mind to every year for the past few years since I moved down here. I also have an opportunity for people to understand the differences in genders, because men and women react and have different thoughts about things. And then I really finalize on some examples on people that have moved forward and how they combined their ability for what they wanted with where they were and how they got themselves there, because it's all different for everybody. And I try to really focus on individualism. Yeah, obviously you've heard of the book The Secret, right? Everybody knows that book. It's a great reference because it does say, positive mind, positive thoughts, positive things. I'm a big believer in the universe and all that energy, chutzpah. But it doesn't happen if you just wish it. You have to do something about it, right? So it's like a combination of The Secret with a little bit of rock star punch in your face. How's that sound? So
Yeah,
that's
sounds
really the focus of this book, hopefully people get that way too, without rereading everything over and over again.
I'm
So.
glad it's a short book because not a lot of people today like to read. I know I don't like to read.
No, it's not a fiction, suspense thriller. I went to an author showcase last week with a whole bunch of great authors in the area, and I learned so much from them. It's like, they're writing up children's books, fiction thrillers, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, memoirs, and here I am with my Rockstar book, right? So it was completely different. I really developed an even better understanding and appreciation for other authors that do things differently. These types of books, these motivational in your face, they should be short. Today's attention span, everybody's face is in their phone, right? So they're going to stop and say, well, let me read this 200-page book by Lorraine Geraci about living a rock star life. I'll be here for 5 days. And then they get through a couple chapters. I don't feel like reading anymore. So I thought about that before I wrote it. Because I've read enough books on this kind of subject. Just tell me your gist on it. Let me just get your feedback, and I can take it from here.
Now, this is the first time I've ever hearing about this type of coaching. I've heard business coaches who just strictly just stick to the business and try to help them achieve their next goals and things like that.
Right. Like there's executive coaching.
Yes.
Right. Really professional coaching, I went to get certification to become a professional coach. And through that, you can really kind of design your path from there. So what kind of coach do you want to be? Personally, I wanted to be a work-life balance coach, actually. And it's funny because Rockstar Coaching is all about balancing your inner rock star to achieve the life that you want. And that's what it's all about, because our life is always balancing. So I didn't want to focus in one direction, because we're not all one direction people. Everybody has a personal life. Everybody has a professional life of some sort. Everybody has some kind of family. It's all different. So why just focus in one area? I wanted to help people balance out the needs that they had depending on where their issues are.
Pretty cool. Now let's talk about you just a little bit. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but so you have a family. You have kids?
Yes, I have an adult daughter who's 23, and I have an adult stepdaughter who's 21 in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I am a single professional empty nester. I was like, professional empty nester, is that like a thing? I said, no, it's just basically a professional person that has an empty nest. So one of the reasons why I really wanted to move forward with this business and my book and coaching was because, my children are grown up, right? So I don't have that every day. So I have a little bit more time to focus on some of my other passions.
Now, what are your other passions besides coaching? What other passions you got?
Traveling.
Okay.
Now that I have the whole freedom and time, I love to travel to new places. I'm very much an event planner, organizer.
Okay.
I love bringing people together for camaraderie, friendship, as well as a good cause. I'm actually having a big party. You're all invited too. September 12th in the Birkdale and where I live clubhouse.
Okay.
And it's a hero and villain dress-up costume party with prizes. And we also have a fundraiser for the North Carolina Boxer Rescue in memory of my boxer that I just lost about a month ago. So stuff like that. I love doing things like that. Events, bringing people together.
Hero and villain party.
Heroes and villains. You
Heroes
pick
and
which
villains.
one you are.
Okay, so I know you don't want to tell us which one you're going to be because it's probably going to be a surprise.
It
but
will
what are
be a surprise.
What are the top 3 that you were thinking of? And just leave out the one that you were that you're planning on being. What were the
Sure.
top 3 you were thinking of?
You got Wonder Woman, right? She's a female hero. You have Maleficent. She's a female villain, right? And I think I'm a big Disney buff, so I kind of think along those lines a little bit of some of the, a lot of villains that they have. Ursula, you remember from The Little Mermaid, things of that nature, right? Or the Evil Queen.
That's creative because I wouldn't have thought of that of them as villains.
Yeah.
That's Disney characters. I don't think of them
they're
as villains. I think of comic book villains or.
That is good too. Certainly, depending on what people envision, they're again are really focusing on individuality and creativity, camaraderie, and getting people together to talk to each other and have fun instead of being on their phones all the time and pouring their heads into social media without.
Yeah.
We're losing each other here. And besides the book, I run my everyday life, making sure that I try to keep in touch with folks because it's important.
Good. Tell us how our audience can reach you.
They can reach me either at LorraineGeraci.com, which is my website. My telephone number is 845-541-1147. And also, too, my email is coachlorraine2014@gmail.com. Any one of those ways. Myself, I have an intern named Lauren Kalaw, who is a UNC Charlotte senior this year. So she's been helping Rockstar Coaching getting things done. So I'm very grateful for her as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, Lorraine.
Thank
I
you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. That's awesome. So thanks. This is our show for the day. So thanks for tuning in today. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and visit my website at getmoneypodcast.wordpress.com. Again, I'm your host, Stevie G, and we're out.